Hello, fifth graders. Okay, new reader, and the new reader, let me back up a page here for a minute, is called Ecosystem Interactions, and I'm going to ask you to read just the first section here, section 1, Pollution in Plants, to help us with, this unit's great. It goes a lot with what we just kind of finished in the last unit, so you'll see a lot of carryover. So notice these page titles: Studying Acid Rain Harms Plants, Acid Rain and Plants, a Plant's Life Cycle, and Conservation. So I would, if I were you, grab the worksheet that I gave you, and you might want to do it as you go along, or feel free to read the whole section or listen to the whole section before you do anything else. Studying acid rain, pollution, and plants. Every year, Sarah Nelson joins a group of scientists to travel around 6 states in the northeastern United States. They take samples of water from 74 different lakes, from the crowded suburbs of Boston to the top of the remote mountains in Maine. These scientists are measuring the amount of acid rain present in the water. Acid rain is any form of precipitation, so rain, snow, sleet, that has high levels of nitric and sulfuric acid. It is caused primarily by the burning of fossil fuels such as gas, oil, and coal. A small amount of acid rain also comes from natural causes, including volcanic emissions and forest fires. Studying acid rain is important because too much acidity in the water harms many different living things. Acid rain is a form of pollution, any substance that has harmful effects on the environment. Now, if you check your sheet, I think your questions match with these questions, actually. So why do you think Sarah Nelson and scientists test water from 74 different lakes? And then what causes acid rain? So once you found those two answers, one is more, as you can see, an author and you, and one is more of a right there question, you can write down your responses, and then you can turn the page. Acid rain harms plants. Acid rain generally doesn't kill plants directly. Instead, it damages their external structures. This makes it harder for them to grow and to develop. So I want you to think back to the bulletin board we have outside the room that shows the different parts of a plant and its plant structure. So they're saying that the acid rain doesn't kill the plant right away, but what it does is harm the different parts of the plant that would help it to function together. For example, plants use their roots to anchor themselves in place and take nutrients and water from the soil. Scientists know that acidic water dissolves the nutrients and minerals in the soil and then washes them away before trees and other plants can use them to grow. Acid rain can also slow down or reduce root growth. We know how important those minerals are. Acid rain can also damage a plant's leaves. It can also damage them to look spotted or to drop earlier than normal. This causes the plant to become weak because leaves have most of the plant's chloroplasts. When a plant's leaves are damaged by acid rain, they can no longer photosynthesize as well. Remember that leaves collect sunlight and convert it to the energy that the plant can use to grow and develop photosynthesis. So check your worksheet, because I think it's going to ask you to do some of these same things as well. When you get to this part, to try to use an if-then statement, right, to explain how acid rain affects plants, I want you to think about if this happens, then what happens, okay? Page 6, acid rain and a plant life cycle. It says over here, partner, read. We're obviously not doing that. When the structures of a plant are damaged by acid rain, they are less able to complete their life cycle. A life cycle is the series of developmental stages an organism passes through on its way from birth to death. There's a pattern to the changes that all living things go through as they grow and develop. All life cycles including birth, growth, reproduction, and death. The seed is the first step in a flowering plant's life cycle. The seed protects the plant in a protective coat as it travels from its parent to its new location. Think about the corn that we just planted. You could still see the corn seed, which was so cool when we pulled out the plants from the cotton. With enough light and warmth from the sun, the seed will start to grow. During this step, the plant breaks out of its seed coat and begins to sprout. This is called germination. It grows roots, stems, and leaves. With leaves, it can capture energy from sunlight. So you're going to think about what a life cycle is, and then you're going to think about what the 4 stages are in a life cycle. So read carefully over here to find those. Why don't we go ahead and highlight them in. So life cycles, all life cycles include birth, growth, reproduction, death. Okay, page 7. In the third step, the plant grows buds and flowers. Flowers are external structures where seeds form and where pollination occurs. Flowers attract pollinators, like insects, so that the plant can make new seeds. Finally, the plant produces fruits that attract animals. Some plants produce seed casings that allow the seed to travel by wind or water. This is called seed dispersal. The seeds grow and start the plant life cycle all over again. Acid rain, though, can prevent a plant's flowers from blooming or cause them to fall off the plant before they are pollinated. This affects a plant's ability to reproduce. Reproduction is the ability of a mature organism to have offspring. Without reproduction, a group of organisms will die out. Because of this, reproduction is an essential step in the life cycle of all living things. So we have seeds, they grow into a plant, there's pollination, there's new seeds, there's seed dispersal, the seeds blow somewhere or are carried somewhere, and then you have new seeds all over again. Okay, last page, conservation. Again, don't worry about this part. Acid rain is mostly a result of humans burning fossil fuels. Once people became aware of the dangers of acid rain, they began to work to protect the environment by reducing the amount of acid rain that occurs. This is why Sarah Nelson and the other scientists collect water samples every year. They want to measure the amounts of acid rain present in the water. They compare the results to previous years to see whether the amounts have increased, decreased, or stayed the same. The scientists are working to conserve the environment. Remember that conservation is the weighing of human needs against the needs of the environment to create a sustainable way for humans to live off of natural resources. The scientists have gotten good news in recent years. They've learned that acid rain was most destructive in the 1970s and 80s. The regions they are studying, though, have recovered more quickly than they expected. So by reducing fossil fuels, by reducing the amount of acid rain, we are helping our environment to recover. So I think your last question on your page says, it's one of these. What are ways we can conserve our environment, or how can each of us reduce the amount of acid rain that occurs? Okay, so that's section 1. We'll be doing a little lab experiment with some plants and creating our own acid rain next week after we finish our socialized project. So for now, Mrs. P signing off.